So one of the questions I get most often from sales leaders is, how do I get my sales managers to become better at coaching, better at improving the performance of their sales teams? And from my experience, the best way to approach it is to look at what the best coaches in the world do and then try to replicate that. So we find that the best coaches come from three specific areas. The first area is sports coaches, coaches that coach elite sports teams. The second area is those military special ops trainers and coaches. They really know how to train and coach people to the highest level of performance. And the third area is the performing arts. Directors and coaches really know how to take artists' performance to the next level. So let's take a look at what they do that's completely different from the way that most sales coaches coach. What sales coaches do is typically go over things like metrics, pipeline reporting, forecasting, commitments, and all that kind of thing to try to get their salespeople to be more motivated and more committed to hitting their goals. So what sports and military and performing arts coaches do differently is they spend a lot more time in practice and rehearsal than typical sales coaches do. And so they practice over and over until their athletes develop the confidence to perform well under pressure when it matters most. This is typically not happening on most sales teams. Sales managers need to ask their people in sales meetings very simple questions like, what makes us better than our competitors? Or why should I do business with you as opposed to your competitor? And find out how their salespeople answer that question. Because if they can't answer that question with powerful differentiating factors in a controlled environment like a sales meeting, you can bet they cannot do it effectively under pressure in a real sales call. So sales managers need to do drills the same way that sports coaches do, and that's something we can teach you how to do at the sales gym. We have studied sports coaches extensively, and we have taken what they do best and turned it into a sales practice system that virtually any sales manager can learn and can put into place in their sales meetings and in their one-on-ones. So they learn how to rehearse before a call starts. They can get their people more effective at communicating a good agenda, asking open-ended questions, bringing challenger-oriented insights into the conversation, how to summarize effectively and how to close and ask for the order, how to communicate real value with differentiating factors that really pop and are concise and make sense and are relevant and really resonate with the buyer. It takes practice to get good at these things. You don't want your salespeople learning them by trial and error out on sales calls and making the most common mistakes that salespeople make, like talking too much and not able to get to the point and not able to ask good questions and listen, and they can't communicate value and they can't close. See, salespeople get into bad habits when they're learning out on the field on live sales calls. And this is something that sports coaches really understand. They understand that practice and mistakes need to be ironed out on the practice field. And that's what sales coaches need to do a lot more of. Practice, rehearsal, and coaching. Short bursts of constructive coaching and iteration and practice. It's this repetition that gets salespeople to become more effective. So if I could give you one piece of advice on how to get your sales managers to turn into great coaches, learn from what sports coaches do. So give your sales managers a great practice system so that they can practice with your sales teams every week, and so your sales teams get 2, 3, 4, 5% better every week, and over time they become fantastic at the basic core selling skills that generate maximum results. Turn your sales coaches into the same kind of talented coaches that sports coaches are, and you're going to get much better results with your sales teams.